Howdy everybody, I'm Tom Vassell and welcome to 12 Games of Christmas, a series run here at the Dice Tower where we're giving you ideas of games that you can buy for Christmas, whether they're for somebody else or for yourself. We know people like to buy games and we want to give you kind of a little bit of focus in different categories. We tried to pick games that are available easily online. We definitely recommend you check out GameNerds.com. They have fantastic selection of games. And sometimes you might have to go to the publisher, but we looked as hard as we could to make sure the games we're talking about, at least as of the recording of this video, are in print and available for you to get. I also want to take a moment here to say thanks to our sponsor, the World Series of Board Gaming. Man, I cannot wait to go to this year. And I've talked a lot about this because they have a tournament, and there's actually 16 tournaments of games. And when you get to the very, very top, whoever wins that tournament gets $25,000. That's pretty exciting. But you know what? There's a lot more to the event than that. I'm not a tournament guy myself, and yet I still go and have a blast because next to the tournament area, there is a big open gaming area, which is staffed by the Dice Tower West Library, which I have had a hand in curating. And so the Dice Tower West Library is one of the best board gaming libraries in the world, and you're going to be able to play with that all you want, all day long. I'm there in the open gaming area, playing games with as many people as I possibly can. There's also other side tournaments for fun. You might not want to enter the big tournaments, but you might want to play a few rounds of maybe a side game that they decided, hey, we're going to have a small tournament of this game, and people are playing those. You're also in Las Vegas itself. It's in Bally's Las Vegas, and there's all kinds of things to do there. I was downstairs. There was miniature golf, and of course, for those who gamble, there's just all kinds of things that you can do. It's not just a tournament, it's a whole convention with lots of other things all around it on the outside. You can check out more about it in the link in the description below. All right, today we're talking about kids games. And I have a very soft spot for kids games because there are so many terrible children's games out there. There really is. When you go to the toy store or to the big box store, they don't seem to have a good selection, or maybe they do have a good selection, but you're not sure which ones to get. So we here at the Dice Tower love kids, and so we have some good ideas of games that we think would be fun for kids to play, but also games that we think you might enjoy playing with them. So here we go, 12 of them.
All right, to kick off our children's games, we're going to be talking about Quacks Co. Now, this is going to be the little brother game to Quacks of Quedlinburg. It's specifically designed with those younger kids in mind. I would say probably 8 and under, for sure. So it's going to take out that push your luck element, but it still maintains that bag building, which is really exciting for kids as they're pulling out the chips one at a time. It does go to a turn-by-turn based structure. So they're pulling out their chips one by one, trying to see how far they can take their animal to ultimately race for the end. Still has some strategy in there as they're trying to decide how to use their rubies. They want to collect as many as possible to really build that bag up and see what all they can do. So it's very simple, very clean system, but has still that strategic energy behind it that really is exciting for kids. I think that this is good for younger kids. I would say 6 and under, but even that 7 to 8-year-old, if they're not quite ready for Quacks or they have younger siblings, this is still a great option. If your kid can play Candyland, they can play Quacks Co. And I would highly recommend it. So check it out, Quacks Co.
Next up, we have CoraQuest, and this is a game that I feel is truly special for a number of reasons. Number one, the game came about as a father and daughter homeschool project during the height of the lockdown in pandemic. And so this was a school project that then became a full-fledged published game. You don't see a lot of dungeon crawls in the children's game space, and CoraQuest is a dungeon crawl that is really well suited for younger children and children and their parents playing together. It also has the art of actual children that have turned this art in and has been kind of spruced up and recolored in, and it really creates this amazing look to the game where you can tell that these are children's drawings that have been kind of spruced up and put into this really, really lovely product in a small box with a lot of game. You can play through different scenarios. There are also character creation. You can create your own characters. You can create your own baddies, all of this through a free web app. This is a really special project that all the way from beginning to end, you can feel the love and the joy that went into it. That's CoraQuest.
Next up is a game about blending colors together to feed adorable little monsters called Yummy Yummy Monster Tummy. In this game, you're trying to match the color of the monster. He wants to be fed some blend of things that matches his color as close as possible. Every player has a hand of cards, and you'll in turn order play them out, and then you'll blend those colors together, how dark of the shades they are, what kind of hues they are, and the closer that blend is to the color of the monster, the more points you get. It's a very fun game that teaches some of those color blending theories, and is a very neat little cooperative family game. Everyone's playing together to feed as many monsters as you can. Now, this game does use an app, and I know this is a turnoff for many people, but when I've played this in my household, I can wholeheartedly recommend it because my daughter cares about working with us as a family. She's not staring at the phone very often. The phone lets you blend the colors together without having to use charts and mathematics and stuff. It does it all for you. Has some cute animations of the monsters, but really, you're playing here in your hand of cards, trying to work with the other players at the table. This is an app-based game I can wholly recommend, even if you're hesitant, like I am, to have kids have too much screen time. Yummy Yummy Monster Tummy.
All right, this next one here is Kidz Chronicles Quest for the Moonstones. This is an app-driven game where you have cards with different QR codes on it, and your kids are playing through a story, trying to figure out where to go next. There's different locations on a board. You can scan those locations. You can scan cards. You're basically uncovering a story. It also has different parts where you're looking at around the room. Basically, the app has like a room and you're trying to look and call out different things. There are different things you can kind of utilize in the different quests that you're basically doing. And basically this had tons of story. My kids loved this one, and it was a lot of fun too because they could basically play the game itself because the app helps drive a lot of it. Once you kind of give the basics of the game, you can just let the kids run with it and they can have a blast. It feels like a lot like doing different fetch quests in a fantasy game, but you're just going around trying to deduce what you need to do next. It's a lot of fun. Kidz Chronicles Quest for the Moonstone.
The next game I'm really excited about is My First Castle Panic. This takes all the good stuff from Big Castle Panic that's definitely for an older audience, and it makes it perfect for like a 3 to 5 year old range. It's wonderful. Everything is open information, and you're trying to prevent all the monsters from getting to your castle and knocking down your castle. And so you're working together. It's very good for teaching strategy. There's also color matching and shape matching. And so you're just working together, and it's great. There's a cute little dungeon that our daughter loved throwing the goblins in because there's like, you know, chains and dirty water and rats that you get to like toss them in. It's kind of gross but fun. And in fact, we gave it to a friend when we were done with it, and their son adored it as well. So it's great for those younger kids if you want a good game that just teaches those beginning strategy, and you can have tons of fun as a family.
And next up, we have another little sister or little brother game, and that is going to be Ticket to Ride Ghost Train. Ticket to Ride Ghost Train is very similar to the Ticket to Ride First Journey games, where it takes Ticket to Ride, simplifies it down. It's going to be simplified rules, simplified routes, simplified card drawing, for kids to be able to better quickly grasp these concepts and apply them. It's just better for kids. I think Ghost Train specifically brings two things to the table though here. Ghost Train brings a new mechanism or a new way to score where if you connect specific locations, you get bonuses as well, ultimately pushing you quicker to that victory. It also brings a really neat theme. It's set in trick-or-treating, and the kids can see themselves in this. You know, kids trick-or-treat. They like to dress up, even if it's outside of Halloween. My son was always dressing up as some character. There's Batman or Spider-Man, and so you can really see that in here as they look at this and they put themselves in this dress-up world. I think it's a unique theme with simplified mechanics that my son has come back to over and over again, and I would highly recommend checking out Ticket to Ride Ghost Train.
The next one here is Color Brain. Color Brain is all about guessing the colors of different things. Each person is going to have a hand of different colors, basically all of your little primary colors, some of the little abstract colors there, but you're going to have a card that says, hey, what is the color of Snoopy? Or like, what is the color of this thing or that thing? And you're basically going to be putting out a number of colors based off of that card, and for each one you get correct, you get points. Mostly I have played the Disney version of this game. It'll be like, oh, what color are the dresses of these Disney princesses? Or what color does this character, like what colors is Nemo? And you'll hold into your hands like, okay, I'll do orange, white, and black, you know, that sort of thing. It's a lot of fun with kids trying to guess like the color of Peter Pan's shoes or like the tie of this character. It's very interesting and very fun to try to like think about those movies, think about those shows, think about those different things and try to assign the different colors. It helps kids learn their colors and be thinking about like, oh, you chose blue and red and I chose blue and pink. Those are kind of like close together. It's like, oh, it was actually pink instead of red. I misthought, that sort of thing. It's a lot of fun playing back and forth. I've had a blast with the color brain games and I think your family will too. So that's another great kids game.
Next up is Unlock Kidz. This takes all the fun and the puzzles from an Unlock game and makes them completely digestible for a younger audience. It's absolutely wonderful. We played this with our daughter and she just wanted to keep playing it. She blew through it. It was tons of fun. And so it teaches some really cool puzzles and some decisions. And with a little bit of adult direction when they get stuck, it's very easy for them to solve these cool puzzles. It's got a fun little storyline and it's just very, very approachable for children. We had a blast and we highly recommend it.
Next up is a superhero-themed math-based game called Outnumbered, Improbable Heroes. This is a very fun game where everyone's working together as a team of superheroes to defend the city from a horde of bad guys, each of these cards with different numbers on them. On your turn, you roll some dice, and you're trying to use mathematic functions, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, squaring, tools that you have at your disposal to make these numbers equal the numbers on the cards out there. You can earn special power cards that let you take out prime numbers and odds and evens. You have superpowers that you can use that make you different from your other team members so that you can manipulate these dice in different ways. It's very fun. It reinforces all of these math principles. You can use this as part of math exercises, but also at the same time, it is a solid game. Defend the city, work together as a team. I highly recommend it. Outnumbered, Improbable Heroes.
All right, next up we have Zombie Kidz Evolution. Zombie Kidz Evolution is a legacy game for kids where they're trying to defend the school from a zombie invasion. These zombies are coming in, there's hordes of zombies, and so you're trying to balance moving around, trying to complete different objectives and take out these zombies and ultimately save the school from the invasion. I think that this is very relatable for kids. They go to school, they see the school, they understand it, they probably daydreamed in school about this very scenario, right, as they are definitely paying attention in all their classes. So they can see it, they see themselves in the character. There's a variety of characters. Some have a skateboard, some have water guns, some have lightsabers. So it's relatable, they get it, they put themselves in this, and it is so exciting. What I love about this game is it's constantly, or this legacy, it's constantly progressing forward. Whether you win or you lose. If you win, you progress further, or faster, I should say, to the unlocks, but you're still chipping away at different milestones. Every time you play a game, you get to check off a box of something that you completed, or at least further yourself along this track in order to unlock the next ability or character secret envelope you don't know what you're getting. That is so exciting. There's so much game, so many plays in this box. And it's just one that we rarely sat down and played, only one game at a time, because it was exciting, that progression and that relatability. So check it out, Zombie Kidz Evolution.
The next one here is Concept Kidz. This is basically my most successful kids game that I've played. I've played it with tons of different kids. I've played it with family. I've played it with friends. I've played it at schools with other school kids. It's been a lot of fun. And basically in this game, you are trying to have one player. They're trying to help the other players guess an animal. So there's different traits out there. Maybe the color of the animal, maybe where the animal lives, maybe whether it has antlers or 4 legs or horns or feathers or fur, those sort of things. Also like how it moves. There's all these different things you're putting out on the board. Kids have a blast putting out the things, trying to get the other players to guess it, and then also guessing the animals. It also has 2 different levels. It has blue cards that are really easy, simple animals, and then red cards that are maybe a little bit more advanced, like a lobster or things like that. It might be a little bit trickier for kids to figure those things out, but it is really easy to play, and it's been a blast every single time I've played, and kids can now jump in and jump out. This is a super accessible game. Definitely one I highly, highly recommend, especially if you have little ones that like to play and guess animals. Concept Kidz.
The last game we're talking about is Chronicles of Avel. Now this is an interesting game because it looks like a big grandiose adventuring game, and it is. It's a cooperative game where you're defending a castle against a giant monsters coming in, but you know what? There's a lot of other monsters out there. But what makes this game fun for kids is that you start with a little sheet with a drawn picture of your character, and when you get a weapon, you draw a tile that's a weapon. You put that weapon on your character. You get a shield, you put that shield on your character. You get a helmet, you put that helmet on your character. And so you're kind of building your character out, And it teaches kids to work together because that's the way the game is. You're going to go around, you're going to take certain actions. You might go around and fight some monsters using dice, and depending on what weapons and shields you have, different things will happen. You can go to different areas and get special abilities, but it's all kind of a build up to the end when the big boss monster starts stomping in and you all work together to fight back. I'm a big fan of, the whole role-playing genre, Dungeons and Dragons, and all those games can be a lot of fun, but they can also be fairly overwhelming with their rules. This Chronicles of Avel is a much simpler game, very easy for kids to dive into and play. They're going to like the idea of actually building their character and making it look cool as they put the different tokens on it. The rules are not that complex and easy to jump into, and I think it's an adventure the whole family can go on together. And that's it, folks. 12 games that we think you should check out for kids. So have fun with them. I hope you get to play some of them this Christmas with your kids. But either way, I want to say once again, thanks to our sponsor. It's the World Series of Board Gaming. I want to say thank you to all of you for watching these. And until next time, I'm Tom Vasel. Have a Merry Christmas. And you've been watching the 12 Games of Christmas here on the Dice Tower.